Every now and then I come across a gun that is just really interesting, and for some reason I've got to have it. When I first read about this particular one being introduced, it caught my eye. It had some of the old school stuff that I liked, but some new stuff that I really had wished that they put on the old school stuff. Well, they finally did. And I had to get it. I did some research on it. My FFL finally, I think they got a few in, but they went out as fast as they came in. This time they had a couple that sitting around. Apparently the local demand had been met on those. So this one was sitting there for a couple of days. I had to get it. And the problem is I can't shoot it. So let's take a minute and talk about what I got, why I got it, and why I can't shoot it. All right, thanks for stopping by while we take a look at something that I had to have. Now, I'm a revolver guy. You've seen a review on the Ruger LCR 9mm that takes moon clips. Did a review on that one. I think I did one. I have to go back and check, but I think I did one on my 642, which has been a good pocket carry in a pocket holster, of course. And of course, again, if you follow this channel, you know that I'm a revolver guy going way back when. Well, when Lipsy finally came out with their own version, well, Smith & Wesson made it, of course, but made it for Lipsy's, a limited run of a couple of different guns. They make this in, actually, there's 4 different models. They make this gun in both black and in stainless, and in 38 special, and this one is in 32 H&R Magnum, and it is a 6-shot J-frame revolver. We'll talk about some of the features on this in just a minute. Just comes in your plain old Smith & Wesson cardboard box. Nothing fancy. Has a lock. No extra magazines. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. It doesn't come with magazines, does it? Because it's a revolver. I tell you, I do like revolvers. This particular gun is designated the 432 LC. I presume that's for Lipsy Custom. And the 432 because it's in 32 H&R Magnum. Some interesting little things about this. Things I wish they had on the original. Now, the shrouded barrel we'll start with is something that Smith has been doing fairly recently on a lot of their guns compared to just the plain old standard barrel on that one. Not an unusual design. In fact, even Ruger is doing that on their LCR. So that's something new. It does have the enclosed guide rod area. Just not guide rod. There we go. I'm talking semi-autos again. It does have the enclosed extractor rod area. And of course the lockup on the front of the extractor rod like you see on several. And the extractor rod looks to be about the same length as the one you have on the standard old 38s. But it is enclosed, and that does add some to the weight. Let's talk about weight real quick. So the 432 LC that you're seeing here weighs out at 16.8 ounces. Now normally I would weigh these things loaded, but we'll get to why I didn't here in just a couple of minutes. So 16.8 ounces. The 642 comes out actually at 14.3 ounces. So it comes out to 2.5 ounces roughly less than the 32 here. The Ruger, of course, is kind of the heavyweight of the bunch. Comes out at 17 ounces. Not a bad, not really bad, but those are 5 shots. This is a 6-shot gun. So in addition to being heavier than its 38 caliber counterpart, now maybe that'll help in recoil, but it does have a luminescent tritium front sight, and it has a real rear sight compared to the standard old notch that we've seen for half a century or more on J-frame revolvers. That's what really attracted me to this gun. It's a gun with real sights, as opposed to basically that makes this a belly gun. In fact, that's what a lot of them call it. Sights that are kind of terrible. Even the Ruger with its white painted or white inset front sight still is not a whole lot better than the Smith was. Just got that little notch in there. I mean, it works okay. It's functional. I'm anxious to see how this works out on the range. But anyways, it has a dovetailed rear sight, luminescent front sight. Everything else is pure Smith & Wesson. Push forward on the cylinder release. This does not have a lock, a Hillary lock, like some of them call, as this one does. Nice wood grips. Again, you can get this in a couple of different finishes. Smooth trigger, typical J-frame, and of course you've already seen this is unloaded. And nice trigger press, good smooth double action, and you can almost stage it. You can see that it locks up right there, and it's still got a little trigger movement after it locks. There, it's locked, and there's still movement in the trigger. Locked, still some movement. So you can almost stage the trigger on this, which is nice. I did find that there are two cylinders which are just a little bit rougher on the final portion of the trigger press than the others, but that's going to smooth out in time. My experience with Smith & Wessons, they will smooth out some over time. Just a tiny tad under 8-pound trigger pull. Now that's an average of 6 pulls of the trigger because it has 6 shots, and each cylinder is just a little bit different on the pressure of the trigger. So actually 7 pounds, 15.3 ounces. So 8-pound trigger pull, not bad at all, although not quite as nice as the Ruger. Comes out to about a 7-pound pull, and you can't quite stage this one as noticeably, but it is a decent smooth trigger pull, whereas the 642, actually this has an Apex kit in it, which makes it even nicer. This one comes down to sub 7-pound, actually closer to 6. But again, you can't really stage those. But I'm sure this will break in. And of course the J-frame 5-shot loader won't work in this one. It does work in the 642. And unlike the Ruger that has moon clips, which are really pretty cool, I do like. All right, why can't I shoot it? Well, my FFL doesn't have 32 H&R Magnum ammunition. In fact, this gun will shoot 32 short, 32 Smith & Wesson long, and 32 H&R Magnum. Now, yeah, actually, if you went up to a gun with a 327 Federal Magnum, then you could shoot all of those, including the 32 H&R Magnum. But my point is, my FFL doesn't have 32 short, 32 long, or 32 H&R Magnum. Didn't have any of those. So that means I had to go online and order it, and it's just about $1 every time you pull the trigger on this. Do I regret buying it for that? No, it's going to be an interesting gun, and from everything I've read about the ballistics on the 32 H&R Magnum, you're going to get less felt recoil. You won't get quite as much energy as you get out of the 38, but you're going to get less felt recoil. So there are going to be a couple of follow-up videos on this. But anyway, that's why I can't shoot it, because I can't get ammo. So I've ordered it. Ammo should be here in the next week or so, and I'll do a couple of follow-ups. One follow-up I'm going to do is going to be subjective in comparing the felt recoil on the new 432 versus the 38 Special 642 and versus the 9mm Ruger LCR. So I've got in fact I just recently picked up a lab radar. We'll be looking at velocities and calculating energies and so forth, looking at the difference and subjectively on felt recoil. But before I even do that one, I'm going to do a video once I get the ammo. We'll just do a video on this and see what it'll do. Of course, my usual 12, 25, and yes, I'm going to take it out to 50 yards. I know I'll get comments, it's a bad breath distance gun, you don't need to shoot 50. Yes, I do need to shoot 50 yards. My range, I want to know what I can do with whatever gun I have. So, a couple of follow-up videos coming out of it. In the meantime, the 432 in 32 H&R Magnum, bought it, can't shoot it because I can't get any ammo yet, but it's coming, and but I'm not going to shoot it a lot at that. Yeah, I will. I got a couple hundred rounds coming, and I'll probably go through all 200. Anyway, anxious to get this out to the range and see how it's going to work, and will this turn out to be a carry gun? You never know. Stay tuned. Thanks for dropping in.